Hello everyone, this is Rajshri from Inspiration College of Teacher Education. Today we are going to study about the constructive classroom. The topic will cover constructivism, the approach of constructivism, theories of Piaget and Vygotsky, and the difference between traditional and constructive classroom. So let's get started. The approach of constructivism was basically supported by John Dewey. He was an American psychologist and a philosopher. Jean Piaget, who gave his theories of psychological development of children, and Lev Vygotsky. He was a Russian psychologist and a philosopher. He was basically associated with the social constructivist theory. Constructivism is basically a child-centered approach rather than curriculum. It focuses on knowledge construction, means the learner constructs his knowledge based on his experiences. As we all know, we have different kind of experiences regarding the same thing. My experience about festivals and life can be different from others. My experiences of traffic and signal can be different from you or the other people. In this approach, teacher acts as a facilitator. He is flexible and let the students learn from their own views and ideas. Here, students construct their own knowledge based on their experiences. Like what experiences they have, they are always affected by that. And it is noticeable that the previous knowledge always affects the new learning. Sometimes it is helpful and sometimes it acts as a barrier. For example, if someone is trying to learn how to drive a car, so if he have ever rode a bike or any kind of vehicle, it will always be helpful to ride a new vehicle, as he is always aware about the gear and speed and everything. How it acts as a barrier, we can say sometimes as we want to learn a new subjects, but our previous learning always affects the new learning. If I'm a student of geography and I want to learn some other principles of some other subject, so I will always apply my principles, the previous learning of geography that I have got. I will always apply that learning, those laws to the other subject also. Basically, the main focus of constructivism is child-centered learning. Now, Jean Piaget gave three mechanisms that are used by the learner: assimilation, accommodation, and equilibrium. Assimilation is the fitting of new knowledge to the existing mental structure. Now, what is existing mental structure? Piaget gave a term called schema. Schema is the experience of our first understanding. Like my understanding of a four-legged furry animal is recognized as a dog. So whenever I see a four-legged furry animal in front of me, I always recognize him as a dog, and that is my schema, which is called assimilation. But sometimes I am wrong. Let's think that I was wrong about it and it was a cat. So now I have to modify my previous knowledge that each animal having four legs are not dog, and that is called accommodation. Now I'm modifying my experience of previous learning. Finally, when I reach a cognitive stability about assimilation and accommodation state, I reach to equilibrium where I can recognize things well and in their correct forms. Now the other is Lev Vygotsky. He was associated with the social constructivist theory. He gave three things: making meanings, tools for cognitive development, and the zone of proximal development. Making meanings means students or learners are greatly affected by their surroundings. They learn very fast through the people they are surrounded with. The other thing is tools for cognitive development. They are basically the culture, society, realm, languages, beliefs, and the ideas they want to follow, or the adults they want to follow. Third is zone of proximal development. It is basically the problem solving skills of the learner. They are of three types: the task that can be performed by individually, the task that can be performed individually by the learner, and the task that can't be performed, and the third one is in between of them, the task that can be performed with the help of someone. Now, here is the difference between traditional and constructive classroom. As we can see, traditional classroom basically emphasizes more on the basic skill, and constructive classroom emphasizes on the concept. In traditional classroom, textbooks are the main resources, and in constructive classroom, there is no main resource. We can gain knowledge from anywhere. The source can be anywhere and can be anything. In traditional classroom, learning is a rote learning, memorization and repetition is the main focus, and in constructive classroom, there is an exchange of knowledge between teacher and students, students and students. So basically, constructive classroom is always a learner-centered classroom, and in traditional classroom, it is a teacher-centered classroom. Students are passive learner in a traditional classroom, whereas students are active learner. They participate very actively in constructive classroom, as there are various interactive activities. There are no wrong or right answers for any of the concept. They are always open-ended questions, and students change meanings according to their understanding and their experiences in constructivist classroom. In traditional classroom, there are no cooperation. There is no cooperation. There is only an individual activities, and knowledge exists outside the students. Students are always passive, and they always search for the correct answer. There is always there is no method that they can apply for open-ended questions. Memorization of facts and reliance on the textbook is always the main focus of traditional classroom. Now, here is another flow chart. It's more clear and eye-catchy. Basically, the difference in scope of constructive and traditional classroom is given. Here, the scope stand for objectives of the classroom. Curriculum, how it differs in both of the approaches. Learning materials used in learning of the in each of the classroom. Teacher and the role of the teacher in both of the classroom. Assessment, knowledge, and the learner and his role in both constructive and traditional classroom. You can always go through this flow chart. It's very helpful for writing in your exams and get some extra marks, as we should always express our views in a clear way. So go through this flow chart. It's very clear and it's very easy. Now let's go through the principles of constructivism. They are very easy. They are given in a very simplified way. I'll just read it out for you all. It takes time to learn. Learning is an active process in which the student construct meaning out of something. People learn to learn. Like we want to learn something, that's why we learn. Learning, it's a kind of tongue twister also. Now the other thing is learning involves language. If you want to learn something, then there should be a language that is engaged in that learning. Learning is a social activity. Learning is contextual. The act of constructing meaning is mental. The schema, everything that we have already gone through. Okay, motivation is the key component of learning. Like if one is motivated about something, the learning will always be fast and regular. Learning is not the passive acceptance of knowledge. It takes work. Means we don't accept the knowledge that are given. We always construct our knowledge based on our experiences and our own learning and our own understanding also. Everyone needs to learn. That's already understandable. Now the principles of constructivism are very easy. You can go through all of them, and it's very easy to learn. Now here we have the constructive learning model. 4 stages it has: concrete experiences, observation and reflection, forming abstract concepts, testing in new situations. Concrete experience is basically the schemas that we already have. Observation and reflections, the schemas that we have, we are now applying those the schema in the other situation. And the third one is forming abstract concept. The first stage was assimilation, fitting our schema into the other situation, and now the situation changed. So now we have to modify our thoughts and apply it into the other situation, forming abstract concept, that is the accommodation stage. And the third one is testing in new situation. It is obviously the cognitive development, that is equilibrium state. Now the last thing that has to be covered is just a flow chart that covers everything in it. Constructivist theory, it covers cognitive constructivism, social constructivism, cognitive constructivism, that was given by Jean Piaget. We have already covered it. And the social constructivism, by Lev Vygotsky, we have gone through this also. Basically, this flow chart is a simplified version and very clean flowchart it is. You can always use it in writing your exam. As it covers everything in it, like concepts and principles of cognitive construction by Jean Piaget, and social interaction, psychological tools, zone of proximal development, everything that comes under social constructivism theory of Lev Vygotsky, it covers everything. So you can always use this chart. It's very, very, very useful. Thank you so much for giving me your precious time. That was all for today, and you can always connect to me and reply me in comment section. If there's anything left or I need to add on something, I'll try to cover it in our next video. Thank you so much.